My parents cleared out my room and told me I'd be sleeping in the garage because my brother-in-law was moving in. My mom said I should be grateful they were still letting me stay. I didn't argue. That night, I packed up, rented a penthouse, and shut down every utility still registered under my name. By the next morning, I had 58 missed calls and 20 messages. It started with shouting. Not the kind that comes out of nowhere. The kind that's been waiting years to finally explode. My mom's voice cut through the kitchen like a crack in glass. "Don't you dare talk to me like that, John. Not in this house!" My dad slammed his hand against the table so hard the coffee spilled. "You think you can just stand there and disrespect your mother after everything we've done for you?" I wasn't saying a word. Not yet. I just stood there, staring at the 3 people who called themselves my family. My sister, Haley, leaned against the doorway, arms folded, her expression already annoyed. "God, John, you always make things about you. You're 26, living rent-free, and you still act like the victim." I blinked. "What?" She sighed like she'd been practicing this moment. "Wes is moving in next week. You'll take the garage. It's temporary." My eyes flicked to Mom. She couldn't look at me. "Your father and I talked," she said, her voice shaking a little. "It's only until they get settled. Be grateful we're still letting you stay. Grateful." That word hit harder than I expected. I looked at my dad, his arms crossed, eyes cold. He said quietly, "You're lucky we're even offering you space. You're a grown man, John. You should have been out years ago." The room went still. The same man who couldn't pay the mortgage 5 years ago, the one whose credit was so destroyed that I had to step in, was calling me lucky. I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I just nodded slowly. That night, while they slept, I packed every piece of my life that wasn't already taken from me. A duffel bag, a few clothes, my laptop. I left the photo frames behind. By sunrise, I was standing in a penthouse overlooking the city, signing a lease I could afford 10 times over. Before I walked out the door, I canceled the water, power, and Wi-Fi. Every single utility still in my name. At 6:02 a.m., my phone lit up. 58 missed calls, 20 messages. The first one was from Mom. "John, what did you do? The power's out. Please call me." I read it twice, then smiled to myself. They told me to be grateful they let me stay. They forgot the house only stood because I paid for it. They thought I'd never walk away. They were wrong. My name's John Riven, 26, born in Ohio, raised in silence. You know the kind of family that says, "We do everything for you," but never asks what you actually need? Yeah, that's mine. I used to think being quiet made things easier. I thought if I didn't fight back, I'd be the bigger person. But the truth is, silence doesn't make you strong. It just makes you invisible. My dad always said, "Don't talk back." My mom said, "Don't make it worse." Haley said, "You're too sensitive." And after a while, I started believing it. But that night, standing in that dark kitchen, something shifted. Because for the first time, I realized I wasn't quiet because I was calm. I was quiet because I was tired. Tired of being useful only when they needed me. Tired of being invisible the rest of the time. If you'd ever seen us from the outside, you'd think we were perfect. Big suburban house, family dinners every Sunday, matching smiles for Christmas photos. But underneath, it was all cracks and control. Dad, Martin, believed emotions were weakness. His way of saying "I love you" was reminding you of what you owed him. Mom, Ellen, lived her life between apologies. She cried in the laundry room, thinking no one heard. And Haley, the golden one, she got everything handed to her. She was born wearing their approval. Me? I was just there, paying bills, fixing things, filling space. At every dinner, Dad would talk, Mom would nod. Haley would complain about work, and I'd just stare at my plate, wondering what would happen if I stopped showing up one day. Now I knew. They'd replace me before the food got cold. When they said I'd have to move into the garage, it wasn't about space. It was about control. It was about reminding me who they thought I was. Someone small. They'd forgotten the truth. The mortgage, the power, the Wi-Fi, the insurance, all of it was in my name. When I moved out, I didn't take revenge. I just took back what was mine. By the second day, the house was chaos. No lights, no running water, no internet. Mom left me 5 voicemails crying. Dad called me a coward. Haley texted, "This is childish. You're embarrassing yourself." But I wasn't embarrassed. I was calm. For the first time in years, I was calm. Because for once, they were the ones sitting in the dark. 2 nights later, I went back. The lights were off. Candles burned on the counter. Dad opened the door, his voice low but sharp. "So this is your payback?" I didn't answer. He stepped closer. "You think turning the lights off makes you powerful? You're pathetic, John. You wouldn't last a day without this family." I smiled slightly. Funny. I've been keeping this family's lights on for 5 years. Mom stepped in, eyes red. "Please don't do this. We didn't mean to hurt you. We just thought..." "You just thought I'd stay quiet. Like always." Haley scoffed. "God, you love acting like a victim." I looked at her, my voice steady. "You ever notice how I'm only a victim when I stop helping you?" The air went dead still. No one spoke. For the first time, they didn't have a comeback. When I was 19, Dad lost his job. He didn't tell anyone, just drank through it. Bills piled up, and somehow it became my fault. I worked nights at a gas station, mornings at a warehouse, paid the mortgage, paid Haley's tuition, paid for food while pretending it came from Dad's paycheck. When things finally got better, he called it a family effort. But it wasn't. It was me, scared, broke, and too loyal to walk away. That's when I learned what family really means. It's not about blood. It's about who bleeds for who. Back in that dark kitchen, Dad's voice rose again. "You think you own this place?" I met his stare. "No, I don't think it. I know it." He froze. "What did you say?" "The house. It's in my name. You signed it over when your credit collapsed. I've been paying every bill since 2019. The room went silent. Mom's eyes widened. Haley's mouth opened, but no words came out. Dad looked lost. Actually lost. Like someone had pulled the ground out from under him. I didn't enjoy it. But I didn't feel guilty either. They'd built this illusion for years, that I needed them. They never realized they were the ones standing on my shoulders. The shouting started again. Mom cried, begging everyone to calm down. Haley accused me of manipulation. Wes, her husband, called me a snake, but I didn't yell back. I just said one thing. I gave you my silence for years. Tonight, I'm giving you the truth. And just like that, no one had anything left to say. They looked at me like they were seeing me for the first time. Not as the quiet one, not as the helper, but as the one who finally walked away. When I turned to leave, Mom followed me out to the driveway. Her voice was small. "You could have just talked to us." I smiled softly. "I did. You just never listened." She nodded, tears in her eyes. For a second, I almost reached out. But then I remembered every night I came home from work, too tired to eat, and they never asked how I was. So I kept walking. The house behind me wasn't home. It was a memory of who I used to be. The quiet kid who thought love meant loyalty, no matter how much it hurt. They'll never see me the same again. And I don't need them to. A week later, I stood on my balcony, the city stretching out below. The air felt lighter. My phone buzzed, a text from Haley. "I didn't know you were hurting that much. I'm sorry." I stared at it, typed something, deleted it, then locked the screen. Some things don't need replies. They just need closure. I took a deep breath, looked out at the skyline, and whispered to myself, "For the first time, I don't carry their weight anymore." And I meant it. If you were in my place, would you forgive them? Or would you walk away forever? Comment below. your story might help someone else. Like if you've ever been the quiet one who finally spoke up. Subscribe for more stories like John's, stories about pain, truth, and finding peace after chaos.